So with that, to get us started, I'd like to invite our lead practitioner today, Marty Catalian. Marty Catalian. Yes. And what Marty's going to do is she's actually going to light the candle, this candle. This candle represents you for your individual consciousness, that thing within you that is looking to be sparked. And she will ground us in some truth.
Thank you, Eric. So let's all just take a deep breath as we go within to that place, the place where we soar. And I absolutely know that there is one thing happening right here, right now. It is the allness of everything. It's the power that runs through me, as me. It powers the moon, the stars, and beyond. It flows through me and inspires me to create, to do more. And I know this is true for me, and I know absolutely that this is true for each and every person from near the sound of my voice. This one powerful, inspiring, energetic force is constantly inspiring me to do more and more and be more and be more and be more. And I know that with this divine inspiration, this beautiful, energetic power that is who and what I am, I know that this service unfolds perfectly. I know that each and every person near the sound of my voice has an opportunity to be inspired, to be moved, to be elevated. And I'm so grateful for the perfect unfoldment of this service. I am so grateful for the opportunity, the joy, the love, all of it that expresses here. I'm so grateful to Reverend Eric for his heart, his loving heart, as he brings forth a perfect celebration of us, of the world. And so I am so grateful for this knowing. I am so grateful for the perfectness, the perfection that is right here, right now before each and every one of us. And with this gratitude, with this knowing, with this certainty, I release my word as law. And can you join me in saying, and so it is.
Thank you, Marty. That was beautiful. As Marty was saying, my name is Reverend Eric Overholzer. And the other thing that I will kind of out myself as kind of indicative of my introduction to Marty, sometimes I make up pronunciations. So last week or 2 weeks ago, I was lovingly poked because I said Thich Nhat Hanh. I know it's not Thich Nhat Hanh. It's Thich Nhat Hanh. Right, Kirby? Closer? Closer. Can we try? Let's try it again. Thich Nhat Hanh. Thich Nhat Hanh. Thich Nhat Hanh. Okay, so thank you. And so it was one of those things that it was poked out with love, but it also brings into opportunities of what am I aware of? What do I notice? Several weeks before that, I didn't notice that I wasn't wearing 2 matching shoes to service. So today I made sure that I was very clear They're the same. And, we live in this very dynamic world. We live in a dynamic universe of, in the quantum realm, they say, pure possibility, a quantum realm where all things are possible. And there's so much information coming at all times. So I thought to start the service today, we do a small little awareness test, if you're willing. So, Thor.
Clearly, somebody in this room murdered Lord Smythe, who, at precisely 3:34 this afternoon, was brutally bludgeoned to death with a blunt instrument. I want each of you to tell me your whereabouts at precisely the time that this dastardly deed took place.
I was polishing the brass in the master bedroom.
I was buttering his lordship's scones below stairs, sir.
Why, I was planting my petunias in the potting shed.
Constable, arrest Lady Smythe.
But how did you know?
Madam, as any horticulturist will tell you, one does not plant petunias until May is out. Take her away. It's just a matter of observation. The real question is, how observant were you?
Keep the lights down, please.
Clearly, somebody in this room murdered Lord Smythe, who, at precisely 3:34 this afternoon, was brutally bludgeoned to death with a blunt instrument. I want each of you to tell me your whereabouts at precisely the time that this dastardly deed took place.
I was polishing the brass in the master bedroom.
I was buttering his lordship's scones below stairs, sir.
Why, I was planting my petunias in the potting shed.
Constable, arrest Lady Smythe.
Did everyone catch the 21 changes? How many thoughts are going on in our minds any given day that we're not aware of? In the quantum field, we talk about the observer effect. Where we put our attention grows. So last week or 2 weeks ago, I could have really put my attention on, Eric, you really screwed up that name. That was a possibility. There were times in my life where I definitely could have gone and just piled that small little comment into this big mountain of reality. Or I could turn and look to, it was said with love and with jest. We're always at an opportunity to look at things differently. And with so much chaos that's going on in the world, maybe not, let's reframe that, rather than chaos, so much activity going on in the world right now, we're always at an opportunity to settle in and to see things differently. So with that, I'm going to invite Donia Oxford and Carol to join us up and invite you to take a deep breath and to go deep within. So knowing that when we quiet our minds and we open our hearts, all things are possible.
In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release. As my heart opens up to the voice, I await
I find God. That frequency of love, that cosmic intelligence that is always pulsing with life, pulsing with vitality, pulsing with energy and enthusiasm. And in the silence, I know I am that energy. I know that regardless of what is swirling around in my day-to-day life, that there is a point of calm, of peace, of joy. So I surrender to the silence, knowing it reverberates fully and loudly in and through my life.
In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release. As my heart opens up to the voice,
Beautiful. Thank you, Carol and Donia. We're going to try a few new things, obviously, from the Whodunit video. And why not? It's the month of Inspire. And it kind of reminded me of a handful of years ago, I was invited to Thanksgiving dinner at Kevin and Dr. James's house. And it was a tremendous honor. I thought, oh my gosh, I finally have been invited, a seat at the table. And I was assigned to bring a dessert. And actually they were, as Dr. James, if anyone knows, can be a little directive. He said, bring a peach pie and an apple pie. And I remember at that time, like, oh my God, I don't want to screw this up. And sitting in, at that time, I guess the spirit of inspiration, and I thought, came to me, I'm like, I'm going to do a big extravaganza. Go big or go home, was my thought. And has anyone heard of a turducken? Yeah. Okay, a turducken is a turkey, which is stuffed with a duck, which is stuffed with a chicken. Something for everyone. So I'm kind of thinking that, on that day, I'm like, I'm going to do the turducken of desserts. And so I did a apple pie, which was encased in a full spice cake, a cherry pie in a chocolate cake, and then what was my last one? Peach pie baked into a white cake, covered and smothered in white butter cream sauce or frosting. It stood about this tall, and it weighed like a ton of bricks. I don't know if it tasted good or not, but there was a flavor of something for everyone. And that's what I'm hoping that this service is for each of you. You get a little taste, no promises. But on that, let's bring Scoop up, Marty up. Marty, our practitioner of the day. I will always remember you. I may not be able to pronounce your last name.
Yes.
But I will always know you fondly as Scoop.
As Scoop.
Yeah.
Yes. Which is, if you've ever taken mental muscle, you need to pick a word, or actually a word picks you, right? And I got the word scoop, and it wouldn't leave me. It just kept going, and it turned into, everybody thought it was funny because everybody had joy and love, and I'm scoop. So, yeah, and what it was about scooping out the old beliefs, taking a look at them, throwing out what wasn't working for me, you know? And it was also about getting the scoop about GTC, right? So it actually worked for me.
So would you say it was an inspired word?
It was inspired. It was inspired, and that class was the beginning of these inspirations, you know, because we became very self-reflective.
Right.
And we are encouraged to be present and to really see, like that. I love that murder mystery thing, because there's inspiration everywhere, right?
Yeah.
All the time. We just have to notice it. It's there. It's there. You know, I remember looking at rabbits in my yard and seeing them just eating very, you know, calmly. And then, of course, one of my dogs came out, and they just scampered away. And I thought, wow, I need to be more like that. I need to learn from that rabbit. Like, stop looking for trouble till trouble shows up, you know? I can actually be in joy in this moment, you know? So I look for inspiration in nature a lot. I look for it in all of it. Even the unpleasant stuff, it can inspire something within me, right?
And I guess my question for you is, how do you inspire?
Others?
I don't know.
How do I inspire?
If inspiration is that thing that's all around us, and if we are one with everything, how do you inspire? Or whom do you inspire?
Whom do I inspire? I don't know who I inspire. I think I try to bring my best self to all situations, right? And if that's an inspiration to somebody, then I'm doing good. You know, I try to bring a lot of love, a lot of joy, a lot of wonder and excitement into everything, right? That's how I want to be in the world. And if that's an inspiration to somebody, I've done my job, you know.
That sounds like an inspired life.
I think
sure.
so.
Yeah.
I think so. You know, Dr. James was actually somebody who really has inspired that. He said something, which I do want to say again, which was, the only limitations that I have are what's going on between my ears. That's it, you know? And so I got a chance to look at, that inspired me, just those words, you know, because I got a chance to look at where my limits were and go beyond that, you know? So I don't
Beautiful.
know if that helps.
That helps immensely, and which is so appropriate for our theme this month, which is
Inspire.
Inspire. Perfect. And would you like to lead us in our affirmation?
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So I'm going to say it once, and then you're going to say it a couple times with me. I allow the inspiration of life to fill me to overflowing. Emphasis on overflowing. Okay, ready? I allow the inspiration of life to fill me to overflowing. One more, just in case. I allow the inspiration of life to fill me to overflowing. Good job.
Thank you, Marty. And I love to, Marty, so you were talking about the little bunnies that were in your yard and seeing them with wonder, as opposed to as a pest that's eating in your garden, or and I guess it's that reminder of how do we look at things. So it's like, Thor, can I get the next slide? Actually, go back one. with that in mind, actually, I'm going to have Carol come back up, and she's going to be sharing a song, which will be our featured song of inspiration. Carol Hatchett.
So much inspiration. Good morning, everyone. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Yes, I can make it now. The pain is gone, and all of the bad feelings have disappeared. Yes, and here is that rainbow I've been praying for. You know it's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Look all around, there's nothing but blue sky. And look straight ahead, nothing but blue sky. Ooh.
So Ernest Holmes wrote, "The relative is the absolute at the level of the relative." So what does that mean? It means there is an absolute truth, a consciousness. That God aspect is what and who I am, is who and what each of us are. But in that truth, sometimes we have very relative experiences. Life plays out differently based on our understanding of that truth. Pema Chodron says, "You are blue sky. Everything else is just weather. I am blue sky. You are blue sky. There is only and always blue sky."
Look all around, there's nothing but blue sky. Yes, and look straight ahead, there's nothing but blue sky. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. Yeah, yeah, yes. And I can see all obstacles in my way. Get out of my way, get out of my way. Gone is the dark cloud that had me down. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. You can sing it with me if you want to. You can sing it. It's gonna be a bright, oh, bright, sunshiny day. One more time for the people, say, it's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. Thank you. Thank you. Give it up for the band.
That was just remarkable. Awesome, remarkable, fantastic. And what makes it all the more spectacular, talking about inspired, Carol found out she was going to sing this song this morning. So another special hand to Carol. Thank you so much. Now we'll go to, actually, my next slide. Speaking of bunnies and how do we see things? I'm a duck. I'm a bunny. No, I need it. So it's really about how do we see things. You know, in the song that Carol just sang, about seeing clearly. About seeing things clearly, about seeing obstacles. Once the cloud, once the weather in our life clears, we can see the obstacles that are in our way. When we see things clearly, suddenly they're no longer obstacles. It's something, okay, I'm going to navigate differently, but it doesn't need to hold us. It's really all about how do we see things, and are we willing to see things differently? Next slide, please. This is an old classic. Who can see the beautiful woman? Who can see the more aged beautiful woman? Perfect. Who can see both? They're both there. How are you looking at it? And the next slide, please. And with that, I invite everyone to just take a nice deep breath. Rows and flows of angel hair, and ice cream castles in the air, and feathered canyons everywhere. I've looked at clouds that way, but now they only block the sun. They rain and snow on everyone. So many things I would have done, but clouds got in my way. I've looked at clouds from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow it's cloud illusions that I recall. I've never really known clouds at all. So Joni Mitchell wrote that song in 1966. She was in a plane, she was reading a book, Henderson and the Sun God, and there was a beautiful quote in it, in jest or in essence, of, I look down and I dream of clouds, but as a kid, I used to look up and dream of clouds. In that instant, she had the inspiration, and she wrote the lyrics to this song, which would ultimately become one of her biggest hits. It's beautiful because talking about looking at clouds from the innocence, from the wonder of a child, and then looking at them from a different perspective, where they just blocks the sun, and it's a deterrent. It's a yes and. It can be both. Which will you choose? Moons and Junes and Ferris wheels, the dizzy dancing way that you feel when every fairy tale becomes real. I've looked at love that way, but now it's just another show. You leave them laughing when you go, and if you care, don't let them know. Don't give yourself away. I've looked at love from both sides now, from give and take, and still somehow it's love's illusions that I recall. Have I ever really known love at all? Love is such a complicated thing. Our first love, when we come into this world, the love of a mother. Our first love, our first pets. There's the romantic love. I've experienced love in many different ways. From the Mrs. Robinsons to all the myriad types of love. But what I've come to realize here at this center, we talk about a different type of love. We talk about love only. That creative energy, that impulse, that's who and what I am. No one can bring love to me, and no one can take it away from me. We have the opportunity to bump into people, to collide, where they get to ignite, open up a different dimension of the love that I am. And I realize that that has been one of my greatest lessons in life, the acknowledgement and the love of self. To truly love and experience the wonder and the love of who I am. Tears and fears, then feeling proud to say I love you right out loud. Dreams and schemes and circuit crowds, I've lived my life that way. But now old friends, they're acting strange. They shake their heads and tell me that I've changed. Well, some things are lost and some things are gained by just living every day. I've looked at life from both sides now, from win and lose, and give and take, and up and down, and still somehow it's life's illusions that I recall. I've never really known love. I've never really known life. I've never really known clouds until now. Th- Thank you very much. So if anyone knows me, that was a stretch. In the, and there have been a couple of things that I've come to realize in this moment in particular. I fondly think of my high school music teacher, Sue Stewart. Hi, Sue. And one of the great lessons that I learned, but not when I was in high school, but many years later, was the understanding of music isn't necessarily about hitting the right notes. It's the space between the notes. And I don't consider myself a singer, but I do consider myself someone who loves to think deeply and contemplate ideas and themes and poems and songs. So that was my stretch to, was I willing to see myself differently? So thank you for that opportunity. So the title of my talk could have been, what the hell were you thinking, Eric? But it's not. Next slide, please. The question is, how is the view? And we've been talking about it, and we've been experientially sort of looking, what's the perspective that we see? I had the great opportunity the beginning of last month to travel to Uganda. Next slide. And I got to travel with the Greater Contribution with Karen Wright and Peggy and Scott and Marilyn. Had a remarkable trip. And, you know, it was interesting. I had a couple of friends who I won't mention their names, Reverend Liza and Reverend Tiffany, who were talking a little bit like, Eric, you're going to Uganda? Why are you going to Uganda? Are you having another midlife crisis? And I said, you know, I don't know why, and yet I knew that I was being inspired to go. So I said yes. How often have I had the opportunity to travel to that part of the world, to go visit some of the innermost villages in northern Uganda? So of course I said yes, with the curiosity of, why am I here? So these are actually some pictures of, at the center was the day where we went to Merchant Falls and had a phenomenal day doing a safari, and just some of the wonderful people and experiences that we met. And this was not an easy trip. You know, it was about 18 hours, 19 hours of flying to get there and the land, and then it was about a 9-hour drive from the airport up, or Kampala, up to Gulu, where we were staying. It was treacherous, or so I thought, until the next day when we started actually going to do the work. And the work is the work of the Greater Contribution, which many of you may be familiar with. And it's an organization that goes in to small inner villages, and they offer microloans to the women, helping them sort of lift themselves up to a different level and reality of existence. And when I say treacherous, that's where the treachery really began. Because each day we would actually go out, it would be about a half-hour, 40-minute drive on paved roads, and then another 45 minutes on completely unpaved roads. We were out in the middle of seemingly nowhere. And at the same time, I was getting emails. Next slide, please. Of an installation that was going on simultaneously when I was in Uganda. So this is a residence that I was working on in Newport Beach. So these images were coming in of, you know, a $60 million house and their master suite of Newport Beach. And next slide, please. And this is a typical village that we went into. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to deny the Newport Beach one has much better plumbing. But when I really think of, and you can go to the next slide, please. I'm sitting in this contrast of the two worlds. Simultaneously, both sides both are real. And simultaneously, the war in Ukraine, thank you. The Ukrainian war was just happening. We were about 4 or 5 days into that as we were going into this. And I found myself sitting in the center of it all. And I'm like, oh, maybe this is why I'm here. Anyone who's taking class with me, it's kind of turned into a joke, the law of polarity. You know, one of the great things about this teaching, the entire New Thought movement, transcendental movement, really was based in oneness and is based in oneness, meaning there is no duality. There's no this or that. It's all one thing. And yet the law of polarity, what that does, it gives us the opportunity to experientially see different perspectives, but we reside and we live in the center. So I found myself living in that center in Uganda. And there was one morning where we got up to go on to Merchant Falls, and it was before sunrise. So I was sitting in the van, and I happened to just look out the window and look up. And the stars were magnificent. And I just started to cry. And I probably cried for about 20 minutes, just in terms of we are all of it simultaneously. You know, and then one of the other things that I really sat with that really sort of challenged me was, what is the perspective that I'm going into this whole experience? You know, I knew that the greater contribution was doing some really great work in the world. And when I was there, I realized it was doing really great work. It was going in and it was microloans, but it was teaching concepts of self-reliance. There were some really remarkable things. And I also realized that I was challenging myself. And Scott Gibb and I had some amazing conversations about, do I have a problem being around poor people? I said, no, I really don't. My issue is I don't see them as poor. You know, and for me, that was my second aha moment of, oh, my greatest contribution with the greater contribution is to lift any labels or assumptions or the perspective of seeing them as these poor people that need to be saved, that need to be helped. That was one of the greatest contributions for me of how can I go through life? How does my consciousness, how can I live from the absolute to the best of my ability, regardless of what the relative conditions of life are looking at? And I realize that is, you know, certainly an ongoing challenge. Next slide, please. So Ernest Holmes, I'm going to put my glasses on for this one. I actually pulled some old Ernest Holmes. He actually writes, poverty is an impoverished thought, a belief in lack or limitation, a lack of knowledge that substance and supply are spiritual, a result of the inability to perceive that prosperity is ever present, a denial of good, a limited sense of the universe. And then the opposite, prosperity. He writes, prosperity is the outpicturing of substance in our affairs. Everything in the universe is for us. Nothing is against us. We must know that everywhere we go, we meet friendship, love, human interest, and helpfulness. Life is ever giving of itself. We must receive, utilize, and extend the gift. Success and prosperity are spiritual attributes belonging to all people, but not necessarily used by all people. So when I returned from that trip, I was telling my dad about my experiences. And in a very lovingly way, he said, so going into the villages in consideration of everything that's going on in the world, does it really make a difference? And it was from a sincerity. And we had a beautiful conversation. I said, I've got to believe, and I do believe that it does. Peace begins within. When we can have one conversation, or we can make one ripple in one woman's life, and that ripples out to her family, and it just ripples and ripples and compounds and compounds and compounds. So I do believe, with the enormity of everything going on in the world, that's one end of the polarity, and the insular, the itty-bitty in the silence, that's equally as powerful because it's all one thing. So I do believe every interaction can change the world. Next slide, please. What will you choose to see? Namaste. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And now, what are we going to do now? Let's have Donia and Carol come up. Now it's going to be the time where our contribution, our time of giving. So knowing that this center relies on the kindness, the support, the generosity of your money, of your time, of your talent, of just your love. So take it away.
Shall we say this together?
Let's say this together as well. If you'd like to join me in our affirmation, divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless. It is evidence of my conviction that God is the source and substance of my supply. I joyously contribute to the vision of my spiritual center, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly.
Here we go. Sing off. Here we go. Circulate my love right now. I circulate my love. Now I circulate my love. Circulate my love right now. I circulate my love. Circulate my love right now. I circulate my love. And it returns to me, multiplied abundantly. Circulate my joy right now. I circulate my joy. Oh, circulate my joy right now. I circulate my joy. I circulate my joy right now. I circulate my joy. Circulate my joy right now. Circulate my joy. And it returns to me, multiplied abundantly. Circulation, it's across the nation. It's a love vibration around the world and beyond. I circulate my gifts right now. I circulate my gifts. Circulate my gifts right now. I circulate my gifts. I circulate my gifts. Circulate my gifts. And it returns to me, multiplied abundantly. Circulate.
So, what I know right now, in this moment, is that this is energy in motion. These gifts of love, of joy, are ever present and circulating and circulating. And I am grateful to know that this center is big and self-supporting and beautiful and joyous. And that little seed that Reverend Aaron talked about, that little seed that is planted, is right here. This is God in action. And with gratitude, joy, For the abundance that is this spiritual center, I release this word. I release it. And so it is.
Circulation is across the nation. It's a love vibration around the world and beyond. Circulate my love right now. I circulate my love.
Circulate my love right now. Circulate my love.
I circulate my love right now. I circulate my love.
Circulate my love right now. Circulate my love.
And it returns to me, multiplied abundantly. Hey.
April 24th, and here are your Global Truth Center announcements. Happy birthday this week to Reverend Nancy Berggren, Reverend Sharon Kelly, Reverend Suzanne Benoit,
Oh, wow.
Orestes Cordero, Gary Ninneman, Rebecca Kemmerer, Dave Christopher, and Gail Testa. New classes have begun. However, you can still register for midweek inspiration. On Mondays, join us for Putting It Together, Intention, Attention, and Focus, taught by Reverend Dale Olansky and Reverend Lori Savage. On Wednesdays, we have The Power of Belief, taught by Reverend Liza Marquez and Reverend Eric Overholzer. Registration is available on the classes section of our website. Please save the following dates. Soul Immersion for the month of May actually takes place on Friday, April 29th. And our next Wine and Wisdom event is Friday, May 20th. Next Sunday, May 1st, Dr. James will be giving a 30-minute member orientation immediately following service. Have questions? Want to learn more about GTC membership and activities? Come to our orientation meeting so that you can learn more about how to join the GTC family. On Sunday, May 15th, we will be introducing our new GTC members to our entire family during the Sunday service. Be sure to come and welcome our new members. Finally, our Global Truth Center Bingo event is Sunday, May 15th from 1:30 to 3:30 here in Westlake Village. It's a costume party. Dress up for a fun family afternoon. Prizes will be given for the best adult and child costumes as well as for the bingo cards winners. Buy your tickets now after service or online. You can sign up by visiting the link on our website in the calendar section. Have a fantastic week, everyone.
Thank you, Thor. So we've got quite a few announcements, so we'll just move through them pretty quickly. New classes did start this week. I know Reverend Liza and I had a great time on Wednesday night. There's time for you to pop in. You can pop in individual classes or take the entire series. Get more information online, or you can talk to us after service. And then there's also a class on Monday with Reverend Dale Lansky and Reverend Lori Savage. That's in Palm Desert. That's on Zoom. And the one here in Westlake, you can either take on Zoom or here in person downstairs in the classrooms. I spoke about my experience to Uganda. This coming month, there's another trip that's planned. One of our our global outreaches, is for Casa, Guatemala. And this is, I think, their 10th time going. I know Dr. James, Kevin, you're going, aren't you? And Lisa Carey, Reverend Liza, Scott Gibb, Marilyn Murphy. There are a number of people that are going, doing really great work, different part of the world, this time going and really supporting an organization that provides education, sustenance to, how do I phrase that, needy children? Children who are in need of additional support. So the month of May, we will be taking donations for anyone that'd like to contribute to Casa Guatemala. And our focus this year will be on helping them build a new kitchen. And then next we have
We have a video.
Oh, we have a video. Perfect.
Here we are where the magic happens at Casa Guatemala in the kitchen. So these are some of our wonderful kitchen helpers. Every day we make miracles here. You know, with almost nothing, we're able to provide healthy meals for the 200 kids that are here with us, as well as our staff. And it's been a while since we've had a bit of an upgrade. It's time for our makeover, and we need your help to make it happen. So here's our wonderful chefs, and you know what they really need is a big oven. We have this tiny little oven, which, I mean, probably you have a bigger oven in your house. And here we are trying to bake cakes and cookies and breads for all of our kids, and we just have this tiny little kitchen oven. So we need a big industrial oven. This is where we make all our tortillas. That's over 2,500 tortillas every single day, and it's getting pretty worn out. So we definitely need to have that replaced. And our stove is really old and worn, and it's getting kind of rusty because we're here by the salt water. So we actually need another one of these so we can be cooking more things at a time. And you can tell that the floors have been worn, the paint right off. So there's lots of work to do. Not only that, there's the little things, all of the spatulas and the slotted spoons and the colanders and everything that you can imagine that you need for your house. And who doesn't love a nice small kitchen appliance splurge? We need it here. We definitely need your help. So let's do this. Let's make our trip here in May a chance to really revive our kitchen, revive our storage so that the kids have healthy food that is made in a safe environment, and we're able to really make the best food for the best kids with the best donors and the best volunteers, and we need you to make it happen. So we'll see you here in May. Thanks.
Watch it again, backwards. So I think they actually planted the seed and watching it grow in terms of what the needs and what our focus will be. So there's not a tab as of yet on the website, but there will be sometime this week. But really our focused intention for the month of May will be gathering contributions to help fulfill their needs in their kitchen.
We'll accept donations out at the table today.
Perfect. And Reverend Karen said that they will take donations today, beginning today. It's just not online. And that actually video just reminded me that next Sunday, we'll be having our Sunday brunch downstairs before service. The wonderful, beautiful Ann Monahan and her team that cooks an entire brunch with love for us. So that'll be next week. And I'm going to bring up Kevin Bailey. Thank you, Kev. What do you have going on?
Just a couple quick things. First of all, that beautiful presentation, I think you earned back your musical theater card, so that was beautiful. And as far as confusing names and words, I can only say, well, you kind of had the perfect teacher, didn't you?
Yeah, that's true.
That's all I'll say, honey. He sends love to you all from the desert where he is. I'm here to just give you an overview of what's just happened and what's ahead. Sometimes people wonder, well, what is the Global and Global Truth Center? Well, if a day like today hasn't reminded you what we do, not just here in Westlake Village, which is incredibly important, having community and community service. When I look at the efforts of Karen Wright and the global contribution, greater contribution, and I look at what Scott and Jose are doing in Guatemala and have for a decade, and what even the inspiration of Karen Needle to come up with a fundraiser for Ukraine. We are a divinely blessed community who takes it seriously to help our global community. That is something not every spiritual congregation really does. We are a very, very powerful group of like-minded, seriously committed, New Thought spiritualists, and it inspires me to say I am a member here. So thank you.
Thank you.
When I look at what we've just done in April, or the last, from Wine and Wisdom and Soul Immersion, and the trip to Uganda, and with Casa Guatemala ahead, I believe, and bingo, that's going to be a blast. So please, if do not miss bingo. I happen to know what wonderful outfit I'll be wearing. I'm just saying, show up. And I get to be a caller that day with some other folks, so that's going to be a blast and a half. Inspiration comes in so many levels. We were going to be announcing today several of our Taste of the Divine Dining events. Carolyn Clements is doing one coming up in June that's going to be a blast. It's going to be a wine tasting event at her place. July 2nd, Saturday, July 2nd, just throwing it out there now, we're doing a pool day barbecue at our house for all family members. That's going to be great. Diane Sukenik and Michael Reese, we're going to be doing a very small, intimate event. It was like, oh, this will be lovely if you've had the pleasure of their amazing food at their place. And then just yesterday, inspiration struck them. He said, no, let's go bigger. Let's be inspired and go bigger. So they wrote to James and I last night and said, rather than just putting it in this form, let's do another donation challenge. Their commitment to this center is, again, you can only say inspiring. They are doing a 2-for-1 challenge. Every donation for these next couple weeks, for this special extra donation, they are doubling. So $1 becomes $2, $5 becomes $10, $10 becomes $20, $100 becomes $300. Sorry, I'm doing the math better now. Math is not my strong suit, but you get the idea. This is going to be an amazing fundraiser for these next 2 weeks that we want as an extra commitment. And then watching all of this, I was inspired to think, well, what form should it take? I would love, if we're going to be taking donations today, you'll be able to do it online. If donations, to the degree you can come in $5 increments, or $5 versions. So 5 or 25 or 50 or 500 or 555 or 5,555. You all know how the number 5 inspires us. When I look at that Casa Guatemala video, I can see in my mind the kids center with our daughter's name on it. Some of the money that we're raising right now is going to go to supporting Casa Guatemala. This is going to be an inspired event, and then in addition to all of that, Michael and Diane still want to have an event at their house, and we're just going to, for all the people that contribute and participate, we're just going to pick lucky participants. So it's not about you gave $1,000, you get to come. You just need to participate in this special fundraiser to have your name go in the hat, and then we're just going to pick them out. And on Saturday, May 14th, we're going to do a wonderful celebratory event sort of supporting this fundraiser at their home. So I'm taking those donations out front too. So let's have at it. Dr. James will be back next week. Go, go, go. Give, give, give. Just when you think it's like, I can only say, giving has blessed my life so much. I love this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. And I think we have Ann Monahan and Amy. No? It's done. Okay. So bingo. What's the date? May 15th. Perfect. Right after. No glitter in your costumes in the sanctuary, please. And then finally, new member orientation is next week, as they announced before. So this is an opportunity to just learn more, to really say, yes, this is my community, and I am renewing, revowing, or actually just joining us for the very first time. So those are, I think, are all the announcements. Consciousness on Demand is Reverend Kirby. And Kirby, will you be upstairs or downstairs?
Upstairs in the meditation.
Upstairs in the meditation room. Perfect. Thank you. And Carol and Donia, you come up for a closing song, and before they do, Robbie, if I will treat us out. You know, it's interesting that as Kevin was talking about contributions in fives, 555, that was this very special number with Kevin and Dr. James in particular, with Nora. And it's amazing when we hold on to things, or Nora is still present. You know, sometimes when we lose someone in this physical plane, they're still there if we look at it differently. You know, I will share, quite honestly, part of my courage to do what I did today, I leaned in on Nora. Nora was renowned for saying, oh, come on, Dad, go grow a pair. Just do it. So even looking at words, looking at phrases, I took those first lyrics, rose and flows of angel hair, Nora Rose Hines. So I pulled in the vision of a rose and then the beautiful blonde hair of Nora as sort of an invocation to me. That's where how we can go through moving our lives. What do we want to look at? So what I know I want to look at is the beauty in this room, the beauty in the universe. There is so much joy, so much elegance, opulence, vitality, all around us at all times. So in this moment, I choose to see that in each and every person here in the sanctuary, and each and every person online and that I come in contact with. This is who I am. This is who each of us are. So I sit in celebration, actually stand in celebration, so grateful for this community, so grateful for this service. And I release this word knowing that the day unfolds miraculously, see, I can't say the word still, more and more and more and more. I'm so grateful for this truth. And I simply release it simply by saying, and so it is.
Out today with the amazing Gary Lynn Floyd, who inspires me as a songwriter. As time has unfolded me, it has revealed to me life's nothing less than sublime. With every thought I make, every last breath I take, may I be gentle and kind. Love, I invite you to open up this heart of mine. Love, cover me, hide any darkness. Love, cover me, right every wrong. Cause me to see every note you can find. Make me reverberate slowly.
sounds so good. We say love, 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 love. Love calls me. Love, love, love,
Happy Sunday, everybody.